I'm Michael Caine.
I'm Morgan Freeman.
I seem to be Alan Arkin.
We're doing the Wired autocomplete interviews. You're making this more difficult than it needs to be, I think.
Your first one is that one.
Is Morgan Freeman a
ballet
dancer? No, Morgan Freeman is not a ballet dancer. Is Morgan Freeman a beekeeper? In a manner of speaking, I am. I have a lady, a gardener, who is the actual beekeeper. They're my bees, but she keeps them happy and healthy.
Oh, I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yeah, we did. What is Morgan Freeman like in real life? Well, he's a bit of a pain in the butt, if you ask me.
We can vouch for that.
Yeah, we'll back him up on that one.
I don't lie. What movies is Morgan Freeman
God in.
that God or good?
God.
I played God in Bruce Almighty.
And a little bit in real life as well.
God
Is this my
on the set?
thing? Is this my turn or not? Okay, what has Morgan Freeman done for society? Very little.
Does Alan Arkin? Yes, he does.
Does he?
Yes, he does.
Oh, all right.
Does Alan Arkin speak Russian? Hey, no, I don't speak Russian, but I can still remember the lines from the Russians are coming. Что такое, капитан? Что вы делаете?
You sound so Russian.
It's very
Well, I
good.
worked for 3 months.
No
on it.
wonder you got the part.
Does Alan Arkin live? Yes, Alan Arkin so far does
It
live.
does not say that. It says where. Read.
Oh, I live half the year in Canada and half the year in the United States.
See me later. I'll tell you exactly.
No, don't you
You want his
dare.
address?
I'll never speak
We'll
to
give it to you.
Kevin Pollak does Alan Arkin. Yeah, he does a mean version of me. To the extent where he's left messages on my answering machine as me, and I thought it was me.
Peter Sellers used to do
That's
that
great.
with me.
Who does Alan Arkin play in Argo? Was I in Argo?
I thought you were a producer. Were
You
you
know,
a
I
I was,
producer?
I was a producer in Argo.
Yeah, it's me now. Does Michael Caine? Does Michael Caine have a son? No, I don't. I have 2 daughters, but I was very lucky. I've got a grandson, and he looks just like me, only he's better looking. Does Michael Caine have a gold tooth? No, I couldn't afford it. I got a metal one. It tastes better than gold. Metal is more masculine. I own the Langens. Yeah, I owned 2 Langens.
What is Lang? What is,
Langens, I was doing a picture with Sidney Poitier, and he said, "You're always on about opening a La Coupole in Paris." And he said, "The chef where I go, he's always on about it." And it was a guy called Peter Langen. The restaurant was a massive success, but Peter, it ended. He killed himself trying to murder his wife.
Well.
I asked a simple question. What is Langens?
No, Langens. It was a great big brasserie.
Okay.
Would you want to hear the menu?
No. Pull this thing.
Oh,
would you?
I thought you were.
I'm holding it here.
Oh, okay, next one. Does Michael Caine do impression? Yeah, I do a great impression of me. My name is Michael Caine.
You're selling yourself short all the time.
Yeah.
His name is Sir Michael
Sir Michael
Caine.
Caine, just by the way. It's
I would never let that go.
No, I would not.
Matter of fact, I want to change my citizenship to English so I can become a sir.
You would be a sir instantly. How did Michael Caine and Shakira meet? It was in the days of disco and everything, and out getting bummed and staying out till 2 o'clock in the morning. And my best friend and I, we were tired, and we decided to stay in one night and do something we'd never done, which was watch television. There was a commercial for Maxwell House came on, and there was this from Brazil, like the coffee beans, and there was this beautiful girl telling you she'd got a lot of coffee in Brazil and all that. She was extraordinary, and I fell in love. Wait a minute.
Come.
I said to my friend, we'll go to Brazil in the morning and find her. And I went down the discotheque that we hadn't gone to that night. The man came in, he said, "What are you doing? The 3 of you, no girls." I said, "I fell in love with a girl on the television tonight in a commercial." I said, "Maxwell House." He said, "We make that commercial." He said, "She's not in Brazil, she lives in the Fulham Road in London." So I phoned her the next day, and she wouldn't go out with me. And I phoned her for 10 days, and she wouldn't go out with me. But on the last day, she did. And we've never left each other since. And that's how I met my wife. Look, he's asleep already. But he sleeps a lot. But you know what old people are like.
I hope this is different.
Morgan Freeman. Go on, Morgan.
Does Morgan Freeman have blue...
The blue eye? Do you
Yes.
have a blue eye?
Well, they got blue rings around them.
Oh, yeah. I got
Yeah.
red ones.
Does Morgan Freeman have a tattoo? Yes, I do have a tattoo. I was in love with a girl, and I was going to put her initials on my arm inside this heart. And when they put the tattoo on, I decided, wait a minute, this is going to be here the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Does Morgan Freeman
Like Trump.
Morgan Freeman does his own stunt.
Stunts.
If it's had anything to do with a woman, yes. How does Morgan Freeman get his freckles? I have this special pen that I use every morning to
The freckle.
dock them on.
He has a freckler.
Go ahead.
What is Alan Arkin? Beats
Yeah,
the
put
hell out
one
of me. What is Alan Arkin famous for?
Falling asleep.
Alan Arkin is famous for quite a few very, very good portrayals in
you.
some very good movies.
Thanks for finding a
and
word.
I could name some for you, but then we'd really be here all day.
What is Alan Arkin's height? I used to be 5'10" and a half, and now I'm 5'9". Everybody thinks I'm a midget for some reason. What nationality is Alan Arkin? I'm American.
You're not an American.
I swear to God.
You weren't born
I
American.
was born in America. My
No,
parents were born here.
Ask anybody. Said Alan Arkin. Even the name will tell you you're somewhere else.
What is Alan Arkin's auspice speech? English. My speech was English.
Okay.
What is Alan Arkin's Twitter? I have no Twitter. I don't do any social media. Life is too short.
All right, so much for that.
That's your Twitter.
All right, now
When-
wait a minute.
when
I'm
did-
not going to do this unless you give short answers.
Okay, I'll give a short answer.
All right.
When did Michael Caine start acting? I started acting in school when I was 10 years old.
Next question.
Yeah, and wait a minute. And I played Baron Fitznodel, who was the father of the ugly sisters in Cinderella. And I got a laugh because my flies were undone, and I took up acting based on the laugh. When did Michael Caine forget his lines? I've never forgotten my lines.
You've never forgotten
No.
your lines?
I have a memory like a computer. What happened there is I said I was great friends.
Got to read the question, Michael.
When did,
I don't
when
even
did
know what you're
Michael
talking
Caine
about.
say my name is? I never said it. It was invented by Peter Sellers. When did Michael Caine die?
Jesus.
I haven't
Once,
read the
twice,
reviews
once.
yet, but I've died in several reviews and quite a few pictures, but I can't remember any of them. Michael Caine ever pay the equal? Oh, what's the equalizer?
The equalizer is this guy who goes and takes care of people's problems, like gangster problems and stuff like. Sort of like Get Carter.
Oh, in Equalizer, yeah, I played an equalizer in Get Carter. Yeah,
Yeah.
very tough gangster. But I've never killed anybody.
So much for that.
Okay, what we
You,
doing?
you never expected them to run on like that, did you?
What's happening?
We out of here.
Black History Month you find
Ridiculous.
why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No,
Well-
no, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
No, I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
The whole thing, especially the president and Democrats now are talking about income inequality, and that's basically what, when you talk about the richest 85 people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
It's income inequality. Do you think that's, looking at, what's happening in the news now, is that a good idea?
It's a great idea. It is the greatest idea. We have a much more vibrant society when we don't have such a vast chasm between the haves and the have-nots. We need that middle ground that we call the middle class, the people who buy everything, people who use the products that the rich are creating, if they're creating anything other than wealth, right?
Right.
So it's what's happening with the Chinese economy right now. They're changing their whole outlook because they need consumers.
Yeah.
And without a middle class, you're not going to have consumers. You're not going to have it at the level that we normally would have it.
So can I go back to, because I thought what you said was fascinating, because you called it bull when you said people can't, pull themselves up. Do you think that race plays a part in wealth distribution, or either a mindset that you can't or
Today?
cannot? Yeah.
No,
You don't?
no, I don't. Hey, you and I, we're proof. Why would race have anything to do with it? Put your mind to what you want to do and go for that. It's kind of like religion to me. It's a good excuse for not getting there.
Yeah. I said, and it's probably get me in trouble, but I said to some of my colleagues recently, so I know that it's an issue, But it seems like every single day on television I'm talking about race, and it's because of the news cycle, it's in the news, but sometimes I get so tired of talking about it, I want to just go, this is over, can we move on?
And if you talk about it, it exists.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like it exists and we refuse to talk about it, but making it a bigger issue than it needs to be is the problem we have.
So I understand you recently had a birthday. You're 27?
No. You got that on 37.
37.
Yeah.
We have a little
Gee whiz.
surprise for you. Can we get it? There you go.
Oh, no. That's more like it.
There you Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you for joining us here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be
We
here.
appreciate you.
One thing I can tell you, if you're looking to improve the sound of your voice, yawn a lot.
Yawn a lot.
Yawn a lot. Yeah.
Why? Tell me why.
It relaxes your throat muscles. It relaxes your vocal cords. And as soon as they relax, the tone drops. The lower your voice is, the better you sound.
So if I yawned a lot,
Yes.
I might start sounding like Morgan Freeman.
No, but you would certainly get a deeper voice. But every once in a while, a symbol of hope breaks through.
Were you annoyed that he got the trailer voiceover and you didn't?
Man, look, I mean, I've done voiceover work. It's Morgan Freeman, man. Like, what are you gonna do? You know, like, take it, bro. I can't compete with that.
Do you ever talk just to hear the sound of your own voice?
If you're talking just to hear the sound of your own voice, you don't have anything really to say. Hello, Christine.
Hello, how are you?
I am well.
Good. Hi, good seeing you again.
Good, thank you.
Have a seat.
Yeah.
You want to slate that for me? Tell us who you are,
Yes.
where you're from.
Christine Morado, HLN Belgium.
Anytime you're ready.
Give me 1 second here. I have to adjust my dress.
Please, I wish you wouldn't.
Well, what do you want me to do?
I'm in the catbird seat here.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It
Yeah.
all looks good to me.
I was going to ask you, there was not a lot of women on set, so did you miss the women at all?
There were not a lot of women, but
Yeah.
I had a whole tent full of women.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
For the
Did
movie,
you not?
right?
Did you not notice that?
I actually didn't notice it, no.
Oh yeah,
No,
I had
no.
like 3 or 4 wives.
No, that was not even in the movie.
Oh, they were there.
They were there, yeah.
Yeah.
On and off set. No, I would like to know, why did you say yes to this project? Because obviously you don't have to do it for the money anymore.
On the contrary,
yeah?
au contraire, money, fame, all of that stuff. It doesn't matter. You want to do is work. You want to keep it's a job. You want to keep getting them. You want to keep stay out there and work. And it's a chance to spend some quality time in Rome.
Yeah, there you go.
There's no downside.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. And it keeps you young and you look great, so there you go.
Thank you, man.
I was just talking to Toby, we were talking about forgiveness, and I said he thinks that you should forgive everyone. But there's one person I can't forgive. So what do you think about that? Should you forgive everyone?
No, I think that you can. I know. I don't propose or purport to forgive everyone. Forget, yes. Sometimes it's forgive and not forget. Mm-hmm. Other times it's not forgive, just forget.
And I was also going to ask you, because like I mentioned before, you look really great. So what do you do when you're not shooting? It seems like you're in every movie nowadays.
Not much.
Not much?
I notice how quickly I start to collapse, as it were. So I'm happy to get back home and get back into the gym and start rebuilding muscle and bone mass. But also, I have time to play golf and just move around more. Because when I'm on the road, it's either on the set or in a hotel room. So I don't get the chance to go out and go for a walk or for a run or whatever that is. It's too harrowing.
Yeah. Well, Tony gave me the rap, so thank you so much.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Morgan Freeman is here in 1992. He starred with Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven, a film which redefined the Western. This year they team up again in the boxing drama $1 Million Baby, and here is the trailer.
Frankie, I've seen you in Mass almost every day for 23 years. The only person who comes to church that much is the kind who can't forgive himself for something.
You got a fight I don't know about.
You gonna leave me?
Never.
He also narrates the upcoming PBS miniseries Slavery, The Making of America. Here is a clip from that series.
This is a story of resistance and the struggle to maintain human dignity. It is a story of the demand for freedom told through the lives of enslaved people. And it's the story of the founding fathers you never knew.
Morgan Freeman was nominated for an Academy Award and a Golden Globe for his acting in $1 Million Baby. I am pleased to have him back at this table. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Charlie. So nice to be back. So nice to see you. Happy New Year and all that.
All of that. Thank you so much. Listen to this. Best Picture. The Aviator, Finding Neverland, $1 Million Baby. Director, Clint Eastwood, $1 Million Baby. Actor in a leading role, Clint Eastwood, $1 Million Baby. Actress in a leading role, Hilary Swank, $1 Million Baby. Actor in a supporting role, Morgan Freeman, $1 Million Baby. You said to me as you sat down, something like this comes along once in a while. What are you talking about?
That confluence of elements that goes to make what, for lack of a better word, we could call perfection. I say, lack of a better word, perfection is a high place in this. But a script, a director, and its component actors, you know. I think I can name a few places where I was lucky enough to do that, and I think this was one of the top echelon.
Yeah. Another one is Shawshank, which we've talked about before.
I was thinking that, yeah.
Unforgiven is another.
Yeah, and Driving Miss Daisy.
And Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
You've had more than most.
I've had more than my share, I'm sure.
What is it about Clint Eastwood?
If I was going to lay any kind of labels on what he is and does, I would say the first thing is respect. That's the first thing you think about. His respect for others and his work, others' respect for him and his work.
Is he different? Does he just have more of it? Does he handle it differently?
I think he handles it differently. It gives me such a sense of assurance in my own work, because sometimes you're working with a director who says, all right, let's do it again. And you want to know, well, okay, what are we looking for? Why are we doing it again? Oh, well, just see what happens, you know. It's fine if that's what you want, let's go, you know. But to Clint, that's a total waste of time and money. And he didn't do it.
2 takes is
2 takes, 3 takes to most, and he's if he feels he's got it, if you feel you've got it, if you want to do another, he's perfectly happy to let you do another, but you can't go.
Yeah, it's not just doing to see what happens.
No.
Give me a reason to do it.
Give me a reason to do it. What do you want? You know, because I like what you did. He's going to say that. You know.
You two have some special relationship, though, or not?
I'm going to say yes, because I really admire him a lot. And as a person to work with is just, somebody said that we're like an old married couple. And you know, when we're in the traces together, when we're working on a scene together, that's the way you feel. Like, I'm comfortable here. You know?
You know each other.
Yeah.
You know what each other can do.
Yeah.
You know what to expect from each
You know
other.
what to expect.
You know.
Yeah.
And you know this is as good as it gets.
That's a good term.
And then she comes along. Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he said that he didn't know at the beginning. He believed in her, but didn't know at the beginning that she had the capacity to do the physical stuff.
It's a lot of hard work. I mean, seriously hard work.
Yeah.
And she did it. So you see her fight. You know, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
You know.
She spent 4 months, I guess, 6 or 7 hours a day.
Just that.
Just
training
that,
just like
you
a
know.
fighter.
Some guy here in New York, I think.
Yeah, she
The
had a guy
Clinton
here.
knew.
Yeah, and then she had all those women.
Right.
She was fighting with I think it was the Dutch champion,
Right.
who was also one of her trainers. Very pretty woman.
What's amazing about the story, too, is that, you know, $1 Million Baby say, okay, this is a story about a young woman who wants to be a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
It's about all this other stuff, isn't it?
It's about life.
It's about life.
Yeah. Yeah.
The relationship between you and Clint.
Relationship between Clint and I, relationship between she and I, relationship between she and Clint, the relationship between Clint and himself.
Tell me about your character. Because we're going to see a scene in a moment.
Yeah. Scrap Iron.
Scrap Iron.
Yeah. You know, I think of Scrap Iron as being one of those journeyman fighters, the kind of guy who was really a good fighter. At one point, he probably could have been a worthy contender, but as time goes on, you take too many shots to the head, and then you become just that guy who, if you're a young fighter, can get past, probably has a future. You know? And the relationship between he and Frankie goes back to probably Scrap's last fight.
One fight too many.
Yeah, one fight too many. And he got a cut over his eye, and it didn't have a manager. Manager was off somewhere getting drunk, as the script explains it. And Frankie was a pickup corner man. Did cut work, real good cut work.
Right. The best.
Yeah, and kept the blood down so that he could finish the fight. 15 rounds. Got cut along about the 7th round, I guess, 7th or 8th round. Kept the blood back until the 15th round, but in so doing, lost the eye. Well, Frankie's character was such that he took that upon himself. You know, I shouldn't have done that. I should have thrown in the towel. He didn't have the right to throw in the towel, so he couldn't have if he'd wanted to. But for their entire relationship, Scrap knows that Frankie blames himself for that.
Scrap doesn't blame him, but he knows Frankie does blame himself.
Exactly. Yeah. Because Scrap was begging him to do it.
Yeah. I asked Clint about this. The narration, which is Scrap is the narrator for this story, tells Clint's story, Clint's relationship with his daughter.
Yeah.
He writes her every week, and she never writes
answers.
back.
Yeah.
Never answers.
Right.
For reasons we don't quite know.
Right. She could be dead. Who knows?
We don't know.
Yeah.
But the letters come back.
Yeah, they come back.
And that's part of the story.
Yeah.
And he keeps writing them.
Yeah, every week.
I mean, he's got lots of guilt going on, this boy.
Yeah,
Frankie.
It's a really deep and meaningful part of the story.
Yeah.
That this man's trying to work out in his life, you know. Just. And he is such an actor. He so immerses himself in that. You just, you know, it's hard to believe because, you know, the audience has such a habit of accepting you in a role and wanting you to stay there. Dirty Harry.
You mean Dirty Harry and all that?
Yeah.
But that's his genius. You know, that's his genius. Whatever it is, he has evolved out of everything.
Yeah.
You know, from spaghetti western to Dirty Harry to, you know, always refusing to be defined by what he just did.
Totally.
And reaching out to do something. And now everybody believes this is amazing. Well, it's true about you too. But everybody believes he's doing his best work ever in his life.
Some of it.
Yeah, some of it. I mean, Unforgiven was just 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Then Mystic River as a director.
Yeah.
And now this.
Well, I mean, I could go all the way, take them all the way back to play Misty.
Yeah, well, that was
Tightrope. You know,
Yeah. Play Misty was important for him because his first directorial effort, right?
It was his first directorial effort, and he was coming out of that, breaking that mold of the man with no name who would play Misty for me, playing a very vulnerable person. You know, I mean,
he's never been scared of vulnerability.
No, and as an actor, that's your biggest plus.
Wait, to be able to give vulnerability?
You have to give it up.
To give it up?
Yeah, just that's the only way you can really do it is to be vulnerable.
Yeah, but some can't do that.
Unfortunately.
All right, here is where you got to understand this: is that part of this dialogue too is that Frankie has his flaws, played by Clint, who is the trainer. His flaw includes the fact that he holds on to some of the fighters he manages too long, doesn't give them the early title shot that they ought to take.
Back to that guilt factor.
About you.
Yeah.
And so they leave him.
They have to, if they're going to keep moving.
Yeah. But there's also beyond guilt factor this relationship. I mean, he basically listens to you, too. Doesn't necessarily, you don't see him agreeing with you, but it is about him, his character.
Mm-hmm.
He absorbs what Scrap tells him. He absorbs it.
What do old married people do?
There's a respect, because they've been through that much.
Right.
You know, we've been this far, darling.
They bicker. And then one of them is listening.
Yeah. But they bicker even though they take it seriously. Roll tape. This is the first thing you'll see between Morgan and Clint. Here it is.
Mickey's got the connections.
Why ain't about connections, Frank? It's about you not believing in him.
Well, I found him. I stuck with him for 8 years. How's that for not believing in him?
You could have got him a title fight 2 years ago. Hell, he knew that. I'm amazed he stayed around this long.
Yeah, well, getting there and taking home the belt are two different things. What was I supposed to do? Just put him in over his head? Not protect him?
The other thing is that line about, I had my chance. Mm-hmm. And this is also about her. She just wants her chance.
Give me my shot.
You know?
Let the chips fall where they may after that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people feel that way. If I have my shot, win, lose, or draw, have my shot.
Right.
You know?
Right. I don't have any more complaints.
Exactly. Yeah. Just don't keep me from having my shot. For whatever reason, give me my shot. All right. Here's another scene. I want to see this and talk more about this. This is about, because Clint likes this scene a lot, that he said, according to the conversation we had. This is where Frankie asked Scrap about the holes in his socks. What's so...
Yeah.
Tell me about the scene.
Well, it's just one of those... It's one of those marriage scenes. They're just going at it for a minute, you know.
All right, roll tape. Here it is.
You got big holes in your socks.
Oh, they're not that big.
Well, if I give you some more money, you buy some new socks. Please.
Well, I'd be tempted, but I couldn't say for sure.
So you're smiling at this point, just because it's about an old marriage couple.
Yeah.
More to it than that?
Nothing.
Yeah. How many times have you seen this? Twice? 3 times?
The movie?
Yeah.
Once.
Yeah. Is that about the way you do it?
Yeah.
You look at it once and...
Yeah.
Did it look differently than the way it felt when you were making it?
No.
No, it's a movie you made.
Yeah, it's a movie we made.
Because he doesn't shoot that many scenes. He didn't have that much to choose from.
Exactly. That's right.
At your place, how do you prepare? I mean, where you're at now, did you want to know anything that wasn't in the script?
No. I get asked that question a lot. How did you prepare for the role? And my answer is pretty stock. I read the script.
Right, that's why I said it.
Yeah. Because there isn't a whole lot to... I mean, if you're going to play somebody who is extant, some living person, then you've got to learn who they are. Mannerisms, look, all of that. You want to get it down to...
Jamie Foxx, Ray Charles.
There you go. Right. But if you're creating a character, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to create it, I mean.
Nobody knows but you.
The writer knows.
Yeah, well, right, but he gives it to you.
But he's done it. Yeah, he's done all the work.
Yeah.
So you just channel it.
Yeah, but there's the other end of that, which you know. I mean, what do I know? It is this notion that the writer or the director knows the reason he hired you is you'll
Hopefully.
take it off the page.
Yes.
And that's where a lifetime of work comes in. Take it off the page.
Take it off the page.
Yeah. And surprise us and let us know you own the part.
And you know, you could give that same part to 24 actors. You get two dozen different nuances in interpretation and still have the perfect character.
Exactly. So there's no one way to do it.
No.
It depends on the skill and experience of the actor. Can you imagine what you would do if you didn't do this?
Yes, I can.
What would it be?
I don't know, but I would like for it to be. Now that I've had this experience, I could be a professional pilot.
You could?
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Really?
Well, I wanted to fly when I was a kid.
And why didn't you?
Well, went into the Air Force.
Yeah.
And I'm not military material. Question authority.
I was going to say, what's your problem with authority?
It's large.
It's huge. And that's part of the reason you're a great actor. Probably.
Okay.
Well, you're self-reliant. You know.
Yeah.
You're out to be your own architect.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're so smart.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
That's why everybody wants to do your show.
No,
right?
no. So you thought about being a pilot?
Oh yeah.
What is it about? So why that? What was it about that appealed to you?
Flying?
Yes.
At that time, and this is following World War II and the Korean War.
Right.
We had moved into jets.
Right.
And the idea of flying is a little different than the reality of flying. But the idea of flying is the freedom of being in the air. There was so much space. And, you know, if you're fascinated by birds,
right,
and I've always been.
Me too.
Yeah.
I learned to be, but
then there is that thing of having mastery in the air, you know.
Floating.
Yeah, just being able to...
And looking down over everything.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. But you were a sailor, too.
Yeah, well, that is a type of flying.
Yeah.
So I thought when I found sailboats that I had satisfied my desire.
You ride on the wind.
To ride the wind,
right.
Yeah. Because that's another very exhilarating.
So did you come to flying later in life?
Yes, just 2 years ago.
You showed up at flight school and said, hello. My name is Morgan Freeman.
No,
I want to learn to fly. And they looked at you and they said,
I found a
come on in here, kid. We've got just the instructor for you.
I found this instructor sitting in an airplane. I went over and I said, you were a flight instructor. He looked at me kind of like askance and said,
like who's asking?
Yeah. And I got his information, and I called him up, and he apologized. He said, I didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't know who I was? You don't have to know who I am. I just want bicycle. Oh, yeah, but I'm sorry. I didn't know you were such a big star, and blah, 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 blah. So, well, he did that for months and months and months.
Yeah.
Right? Told the story of how...
Right. He ate out for a long time
right,
on the fact that he was telling you how to fly. And so it took you 6 months to a year to learn.
I soloed after about 40 hours.
Yeah, that's the great thing about acting. You can, between roles, you can focus on what you're doing. You have nothing to do but learn to fly.
Right. And so I went at it. That's the way I go after things. If I get interested in something, I go head first.
You just drill down with the blinders on.
Blinders on.
How many things have there been in your life like that?
Sailing,
flying,
yoga.
Yeah. You still do that?
I just had my first in 5 years. I went back to yoga class this morning.
Is that right?
Yeah.
First time
so
in 5
sorry.
years?
Yeah.
Because
well, I'm not religious about things.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go for a while and then decide.
But you're religious about flying?
I'm not even religious about flying.
Really?
No. I'm not religious about anything.
Not about acting, not about anything?
Maybe acting. Yeah. Maybe acting. That's, but acting is what defines me. Everything else is overlay, is part of what defines me. But acting is all I am, I think. You said before, what would I be doing if I wasn't doing this, to tell you the truth?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
You don't know.
Right.
I
mean, I think I would always be doing it because it isn't a career that chose me. I mean, it's not a career that I chose. It's one that chose me.
How's that?
Well, I would have quit years ago because it was just, you know.
Because it was hard?
Hard.
Because you were a black man or because it was
you can give it any excuse you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's hard for everybody. I don't think blackness has a whole lot to do with it.
Okay, because, I mean, you know, what does they say? 5% of the people who have a card are working.
Right. There it is. Now, back in 1961 or 2, I remember reading about these percentages.
Yeah.
Like 5% of the actors who have Screen Actors Guild membership are working. The rest are looking for work. And out of that, black actors, the percentage is even lower. And it's just part of this was given to me as a reason not to.
Somebody told you not to? Or you told yourself?
Well, no, you're just given this information as an eye-opener, you know. What you're going for is really, really difficult. It's like climbing Everest, you know. Only a few are going to get there.
I don't know whether it just makes you tougher and more determined if somebody tells you that. And so I don't necessarily instantly blame those people who say, look, you know, you're not going to do this because the odds are against you and you're not this and you're not that. You know, whether but they tell you, they may be giving you incentive. I mean, how many people in this, we're talking about this film.
We are talking about this film.
You know,
right.
Hillary,
you're already 32 years
Maggie.
old. Right.
32 years old, never fought in her life.
And you want to be a fighter, you should have started when you were like 16 or 17 years old training.
And now, there's a reality about that.
There's a real reality about that, serious reality about that. But those of us who are going to overcome are going to overcome it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Mostly it's yourself. Doubts, fears, insecurities.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of those because you're going at it and 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 you don't see the results. You don't see anything coming back. You don't see any. And then every now and then, something comes along just when you're ready to fall off the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
Something straightens you back up, and you know you'll keep going.
it's like golf, and you're just about ready to give up on the game.
Right. You get a perfect drive.
Exactly. It's a little bit like this. Exactly. Well, I mean, there's hope, you know. I mean, just when I was ready to give up, Hillary tells a story of the fact that she had just been fired. Somebody said, you know, this is not for you, from a job. And she thought, oh my God. And then 4 months later, along comes Boys Don't Cry. You know, and all of a sudden her life has changed. Yeah. What changed it for you?
Serendipity. The real change came in 1967.
That Driving Miss Daisy?
No. 67. Driving Miss Daisy was 20 years later.
Oh. That sense of time is awful.
It's okay, Charlie. Some friends were going up to Stowe, Vermont to do summer stock. And I'd never been able to get a summer stock job, ever. But of course, I've been trying for musicals. I thought it was a dance. I forgot, you know. And so they said, why don't you come up here and play with us? So, well, I had nothing else at all to do. So, yes, of course. And I went up there, had a magic summer. And I started sailing. Somebody gave me a boat. The head of Stowe Prep, as a matter of fact, gave me a boat. Said, you know, if you like and I don't have time for it. It needs to be used, so take it. As I said, head first, and if you want to learn something, someone has written about it. So back to New York, to the library, books on sailing, to New York Nautical.
Right.
And while I was here, I went to an audition for a play called The Nigger Lovers. And they said, thank you. And I left, went back up to Vermont, and got a call back, came back. They said, thank you. I went back to Vermont, got another call back. And the head, the artistic director, a guy named Jim Leahy, said, what do they want? I said, well, they want me to come back and audition again. And he said, why? You've already auditioned twice. They should know by now. I want you to stay up here and do my fall season. Somebody wants me. Okay.
Yeah.
So he said, tell him no. Stay here with me. So I told him no.
Not coming back.
I'm not coming back to audition again. I said, well, you got the job. You tell him no.
You get the job.
You get the job. It's a very magic word in this business.
No.
No.
Makes them want you more.
Somehow, Anyway.
Or at least you're not dependent, so you're...
Yeah. So I go back, and it's just, boom, I get press. I go right from that to a Broadway play.
What was the play?
Hello, Dolly, with Pearl Bailey.
Right.
Big lesson. 11 months of watching a serious professional in Pearl Bailey.
Watching a serious professional. Yeah.
Oh, serious professional work. 8 performances, 110% every time. Every time. In the theater, on time, no attitude work.
It's amazing to me because you hear people say, he's a pro. And what they mean is just what you just said. You come prepared, you know your work, you understand that a lot of people depended on you, you understand the dimensions of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you treat it seriously.
She got trouble with the cast at one time because after the show, she would do this little routine. We'd all have taken our bows, and we're standing in this line, and Pearl would go out and she would announce whoever was in the house, invite them up on stage, play with them a little bit, and then just that little extra something for the audience. And they ate it up. She was Pearl Bailey, one of the best entertainers in the business, The cast got resentful.
They did?
Yeah, we've done our job. We have to be standing out here while she's doing whatever it is she's doing. I said, gee whiz.
Yeah.
When this job is over, you people are going to be begging for work. Yeah. Don't you see that this little extra something here is just...
For the people who make you.
Yeah. I remember packing the St. James Theater, one of the biggest houses on Broadway.
I know.
Packing it. So, I'm just... what I took away from that experience was that knowledge from Pearl Bailey about what is professionalism. How do you get in this business and stay in this business?
Well, and that was a transition from get out of this, I make it, I don't know what's going on, why am I in this, to I'm in this. This is what I am.
Yeah.
I'm an actor.
I'm an actor, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it just, my career was on that upward slant finally. And it stayed there for 15 or 16 years. Is that right? 1967,
you said?
7. No, that's not 15. 87. Number 7 to 7. That's 10 years.
Right.
80. It's 13 years.
Right.
13 years on that slant.
And what happened in 80?
Phone stopped ringing. Stop. I did a TV movie, and it wrapped just before Christmas. And I got my next job in late 1982.
2 years.
2 years. Now, 2 years after the first year, you become certain that your 15 minutes are up. Yeah. So that was what I was thinking. It's okay, well, hey, your 15 minutes are up. You better start thinking of an alternative, So what would you do? What do you do now? Well, I could go and get a hack license. Could try to get a job as a limousine driver. I love driving. So why don't I do that? And I was, every day telling myself, get up, go down to the Taxi and Limousine Commission and get your license. Apply. But as I did, my fantasy was that I'd be driving a cab or something, and some friend of mine would get it and say, "What are you doing here?"
That was your fantasy or your fear?
Well, both. I mean, just know that it's like.
Thought you were an actor.
Yeah. Come on. And all my friends would say, you're one of the best. You can't. One of the reasons I was able to stick was because of friends were telling me that.
Yeah, I know. Told you how good you were.
Yeah. So.
And then what was the first film role?
Well, after that, or the first film role at all.
Yeah, at all.
At all was in 1969. Jack Klugman was producing and starring in a little movie called Variously. Poor Old New York, P.O. N. Y. Or Who Says I Can't Ride a Rainbow. And it was about these kids who were trying to save one of these ponies that was used on a ride in Central Park these things. And these children didn't want this horse to be sent to the glue factory, so they were keeping it in their parents' apartments.
That's a great story. Taking care of their pet.
It was an interesting concept.
But Driving Miss Daisy's what? Did that catapult you to?
No. Driving Miss Daisy was concomitant. What does that word mean?
Along with, same time.
God damn. With Street Smart.
Yeah.
I did this movie Street Smart. It came out in the spring of 1987. I was off Broadway in the spring of 1987 with Driving Miss Daisy. So on the one hand, there's this movie with this really violent pimp. And on the other hand, there's this stage play with this wonderful old man. And so that was it. And
so everybody saw.
Everybody saw.
Saw the range right there.
Yeah.
And today, you have all the work you need.
No.
You don't?
No. It appears that I work a lot.
Yeah, it appears that it does.
Yeah.
Here's my impression. And because you think of all the great performances, and you and I talked about many of them, Shawshank and Unforgiven and everything, but it appears that you represent something in the movies that they need. I mean, somebody who could do almost anything. You bring talent to the stage, to the endeavor, which we know.
Stage is a good term.
And so therefore, for all movies that are not,
Yeah.
But there's just not that enough of them? They're not being made? There's not what?
Well, Charlie, that's the reality is that there are a lot of actors.
Yeah, but there are not a lot of Morgan Freemans.
No, there aren't. But the thing that used to bother me the most is the idea that one actor is all. Nobody else can do this.
Right.
And that stops a lot of young people from getting work.
Yeah.
I feel like it stopped me. What do you mean? I can do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd like to work more. I'd like, but it's okay. I'm not complaining.
Because you got all, you're not a guy who's going to sit at home and cry. You got to go flying. You can go sailing. You can read all the books you want to read. You can do all the things you want to do. I should mention this. You're narrating this documentary about slavery on PBS.
Getting a lot of requests for that.
Yeah. That kind of narration or
narrations? Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, you could earn a great living just doing that.
Probably.
But it's not what you want to do.
No.
What you want to do is find out how good you really are.
I want to be in the movies. I want to be in show business.
I want to be somebody. I want to be somebody.
I want to be somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Charlie.
But do you think that you think there are things inside of you that you haven't even pulled out and accessed yet?
Well, hopefully, yes. I'd hate to think that I peaked.
Yeah, I would too. I would too.
So I'm dependent on writers. Come on with it.
Did Clint call you up and say, what's the conversation when Clint calls you up?
The real conversation was, I have this script, $1 Million Baby, and I understand you're interested in it, because Al already had given me that script some time before. And I said, yeah, I'm very interested in it, you know. He said, well, I'm getting ready to read it, so now I know that you're interested in it, I'm definitely going to go at it.
Wait, and now that I know you're interested, I'm going to read it, or I'm
reading it with that in mind.
Yeah.
And he did. And he called back.
I mean, he's 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah.
If you are on, he's 2/3 of the way there.
That's the impression he gave me. That, you know, you know where my ego goes behind that, you know. It's like,
but do you like the script because you like the relationship between the characters?
I love the script for all of that. The relationship between those characters. Maggie is just, you know, incredible opportunity for some actors. And of course, when it gets into Clint's hands, you know, it's like, and he calls me up.
Yeah.
You just, it's like things falling into place, you know.
Yeah. I want to see you with Maggie, with Hilary Swank. Here it is, in which she tells him about how Frankie wished he'd stop the fight in which you lost your eye, which you talked about earlier. It's a great moment. Roll tape.
I go 15 rounds. Lose by decision. Next morning, I lose the eye. Somehow. So Frankie thinks he should have stopped that fight. Thing is, if you want to get to the title, maybe he's not the one to take you there.
Man, voice is important too, isn't it?
Yes. Very. When I was in school, I took theater arts at Los Angeles City College. Had a wonderful voice coach there. His name was Robert Whitten. And
take a bow, Mr. Whitten.
Yeah, Mr. Whitten, please. And I took voice and diction and voice development. And he lays such a nice foundation for you. And then, of course, when you get to New York and you start working on stage, it's always you're working voice-wise, because in a large theater, you really have to be able to speak from here all the way back there without yelling.
Yeah, leaving it conversation.
And that all it takes is practice and know-how, you know.
Do you want to come back and do any stage work?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It took me a few years to
get
admit it, you know.
To admit it, that you really didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
That making movies is...
All my life is what I wanted to do was make movies.
Yeah.
All my life. Ever since I first realized that somebody told me that I was a natural at this, I wanted to be in the movies.
Are you a natural, you think?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Means I'm intuitive.
Me too. I know what you mean. Yeah. Just instinctively know.
Yes.
You don't need to have somebody say everything to you. You don't have to go read it in a book.
No.
Part of it. You match the instruction with
the books that I have read, most of the one, of course, you know, you adopt what agrees with your thinking, you know.
Yeah.
And Bobby Lewis's book I read years ago called An Actor Prepares. You just read about how different accomplished actors of the period went about working. How do you prepare for a role? You know, so I get asked a lot, how do you prepare? What do you do? Well, as I say, first, it's just not on the script. Can't get it.
You know what I think? I mean, I think that somehow understanding what an actor understands would be great benefit to all of us. Not only because you'd appreciate what happens on film, on a stage more, but to genuinely appreciate it. Because I think most of us just enjoy a performance. We don't know exactly what goes in, and that's fine.
Yes,
we don't need to know what goes into being a great violinist or whatever, or a great painter. But we could look at the art and say, I like that. It just appeals to my eye. It appeals to me. I like the feeling of it. Same thing about an actor's craft, too. But there is a thing about, I would think almost as good as psychiatry, is to be able to access who you are, and to be able to express yourself, and to be able to be in touch with who you are would serve you in every way.
Oh, immensely, I think. Just immensely. And I never thought of that in those terms, Charlie, that part of the game is being in touch with who you are. I think we were always trying to get away from who we are. Put on other clothes,
Right.
Wear other costumes. I know some actors who are, if they can't hide, they can't act. They don't do it well. But the minute they are hidden, layers of makeup and costume, it's extraordinary.
They can do it.
They can do it, yeah.
And there's some people talk about needing to find something, clothes, shoes, a walk.
All of us need that. I think all of us, well, maybe not. I think Jack Nicholson would probably do it naked. but
I don't. Well, we've seen that too. Actually, remember that movie he just made?
Yeah.
In the back scene. Yeah. Go ahead.
I find that there is something about the costume or the makeup that will like stamp the character for me. A hat, pair of shoes.
Right.
Something.
What was it in Scrap? Anything?
The hat. Yeah, and a haircut. And cut my hair off, and it's thinning out up here. So if you cut it short, I look like I've got male pattern baldness. So I look really bald up there. So it was perfect. I was at we cut my hair, and I looked at it and said, "There's a guy. There he is."
You saw him.
I saw him.
And so you could get inside him.
I could walk around in his shoes easy.
Yeah. Now, what are you doing after this? Are you making? I know Clint's going to do this movie about. I think it's Iwo Jima. I think.
Yeah. It is. It's Iwo Jima. He's doing this. And I don't have a job yet.
But are you interested in? I thought there was some question about you in some movie about World War II or something.
I'm producing that. That's a movie about the 761st Tank Battalion, an outfit that fought in World War II, 186 days in combat without let up.
In what battles?
And
what part? What's the Europe?
They were in
Bulge,
France, Belgium. They fought the Belgian Bulge.
Yeah.
And they were the first group to the Rhine River.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a big accomplishment. Everybody was trying to get to the Rhine first.
Well, because they were the tip of the spear.
Yeah.
Third Army. Did you see Pat?
Yeah, of course I did.
Do you remember when they found out that the 101st was surrounded after the breakout, the Battle of the Bulge?
Right.
And he was sitting in a staff meeting, Pat, and said, "My guys, I can do it. My guys will march 100 miles and fight a battle." Part of that group was the.
Now, was this a story you wanted to do? I mean, how did you come upon it?
Yeah. Well,
and what is it about this group?
I stumble on these things, you know. Like so many of the stories about black involvement in the wars in this country have not been told.
Yeah, they're just beginning to do it.
Just beginning to do it, and which is fine because it's probably my time. You know, it was said, "Morgan, this is what you were meant to do. You were meant to tell these stories." So, fine.
So you have gone. This is going to happen.
This is going to happen.
You're not going to appear in it. You're just going to produce it.
Yeah, it's was a young man's game.
Right. Right.
But we have it set up with DreamWorks. They're writing it.
Do you want to direct? Or smaller? Maybe.
I don't think I'm going to direct this.
Yeah.
I like to get a really, Ridley Scott or something to direct it.
Yeah, well, Ridley Scott could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. But that's because it's a lot of troops moving a lot of things around. But a small picture like this, you could be interested in.
Oh, yeah, I could. And I directed, and I loved it. But I'm basically lazy. Directing is a long-term engagement in one project.
You're basically lazy?
Basically, I'm lazy.
But what do you call, I mean, if you're lazy, why do you go up and fly? If you're lazy, why do you...
I don't mind learning something new, you know. I mean, and I travel a lot, and I love travel. I mean, lazy, that's not work.
As honest as you are, tell me what it means to have this nomination, Oscar nomination.
It's the same as getting a good review. Someone saying, you did really good work.
Yeah.
You know, that's as far as it can go. Now what they're saying is that we have now narrowed the season down to 5 outstanding performances by a lead actor, actress, supporting actress, movie. After that, it's arbitrary as far as I'm concerned, because there's no way to be best.
Once you get nominated, they said.
Once you get nominated,
all the films made. And when you look at the company you're in, always, whoever it is, whether it's you or Clint or Hillary, you know, the point that you've made in this conversation with me, that's I think is important to know, is that there is not one person in the world who can only do one role, no matter how many directors or producers or actors might think that.
Yeah.
You know, that there are a whole range of people with lots of talent out there.
Yeah.
And a few get the chance to meet their moment.
Yeah.
You know? And if you get 5 of those in a career, it's amazing.
Oh, heavens, you know? You're walking in gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I absolutely have no complaint. I'm amazed at the luck that I've had in terms of that, you know, getting these roles in these movies.
Have a chance to take a shot. As he said, I had a chance.
It's
great to see you.
Good to see you.
A pleasure.
It's always such a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. Morgan Freeman, nominated for Best Supporting Actor, $1 Million Baby, along with Clint Eastwood for Best Actor and Best Director. He was also nominated for Best Picture. Hilary Swank was nominated for Best Actress. We'll see you next time.
Morgan Freeman has won an Oscar, 2 Golden Globes. His films have grossed over $8 billion worldwide. So when he lends his voice to a project, people listen. Earlier this year, it was the Lego Movie, one of the most popular films of the year so far.
With proper training, you could become a great master builder.
I could?
The prophecy chose you, ain't it?
But I can't do any of the stuff that the prophecy says I'm supposed to do.
All you have to do is to believe.
Very nice. Morgan Freeman is now opening our eyes to the wonders of science. In Season 5, the Science Channel's Through the Wormhole, and Morgan Freeman joins me now. Good to see you. So let's talk about this, because this has really become a passion project for you, Through the Wormhole. Why is that?
Well, it's number one, it's my company, Revelations Entertainment. We come up with it, we produce it, and it's caught on for some reason or other. And we're very proud of the fact that we have a lot of we have a very broad range of viewers, from young people to old.
Well, it's very mystical, and it opens your mind about the universe. And if you have a different concept of what a higher power is, this show takes you there, and in a non-preachy way.
Yeah, no, because we really don't set ourselves up to preach. We just ask the questions. That was one of our mantras. Ask questions.
And you're also very provocative, because this is Season 5 now, and the first episode asks a question that I think is very provocative. You say, is poverty genetic? Let's take a look.
Pharaohs, kings, great industrialists, and CEOs. Throughout history, a select few have claimed enormous wealth as a birthright. Some of them say they also inherit qualities and virtues that keep them rich. Could the chasm that separates rich and poor really be the result of our DNA? Scientists are trying to discover if there is a biological reason the rich stay rich.
and whether equality and prosperity for all contradict the laws of nature.
You also get personal. You share a bit of your life story in the show. You talk about growing up collecting bottles to go into movie theaters. Do you think poverty is part of genetics? Answering your questions.
No, you can't say that. I don't think wealth, personally, I don't think wealth and genetics have anything to do with each other, actually. If you're born in the U.S., it really doesn't matter the condition of your birth. What matters is what you inherit from your nurturing, from your environment, whether or not you're going, I'm just from the standpoint of having been born with little. You can always get out of that. Poverty is just...
But environment effects.
Yeah. Say you're born as one of the untouchables in India, there you are. And if you're born into the super rich, there you are. Here, you can be born to the super rich, but 3-4 generations down the line, it's gone. That's
Here's
in
a
this
stat.
country.
Here's a stat from your show, and it says that the richest 85 people on this planet have as much money as the poorest 3.5 billion.
Yeah, right. That's on the planet, however.
It's not far off in America.
No, it isn't far off in America, but we still here don't abandon the idea that it isn't finite.
Yeah.
It isn't finite if you were born. Where were you born?
Me?
Yeah.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Baton Rouge General Hospital.
Baton Rouge.
There you go.
Louisiana. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but here we are.
Right.
So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and here we sit at the dining table.
But it's hard to, when you say that to some people, because they say, oh, there you go with a pull yourself up by the bootstraps thing, and you're just being respectable. Not everybody can do that.
Well, everybody can. Everybody doesn't. Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, well, I'll never get out of this. So they won't. I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So, well, you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
If you can conceive it in your mind.
If you can think of it, you can do it. That's the human condition. If we can imagine it, we can do it.
Right.
And I think that's the condition of each individual human.
Right. So the whole thing, especially the president and Democrats now are talking about income inequality, and that's basically what, when you talk about the richest 85 people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
It's income inequality. Do you think that's, looking at, what's happening in the news now, is that a good idea?
It's a great idea. It is the greatest idea. We have a much more vibrant society when we don't have such a vast chasm between the haves and the have-nots. We need that middle ground that we call the middle class, the people who buy everything, people who use the products that the rich are creating, if they're creating anything other than wealth, right?
Right.
So it's what's happening with the Chinese economy right now. They're changing their whole outlook because they need consumers.
Yeah.
And without a middle class, you're not going to have consumers. You're not going to have it at the level that we normally would have it.
So can I go back to, because I thought what you said was fascinating, because you called it bull when you said people can't, pull themselves up. Do you think that race plays a part in wealth distribution, or either a mindset that you can't
Today?
or cannot? Yeah.
No.
You don't?
No, I don't. You and I, we're proof. Why would race have anything to do with it? Put your mind to what you want to do and go for that. It's kind of like religion to me. It's a good excuse for not getting there.
Yeah. I said, and it's probably get me in trouble, but I said to some of my colleagues recently, so I know that it's an issue, but it seems like every single day on television I'm talking about race, and it's because of the news cycle, it's in the news, but sometimes I get so tired of talking about it, I want I want to just go, this is over, can we move on?
And if you talk about it, it exists.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like it exists and we refuse to talk about it, but making it a bigger issue than it needs to be is the problem we have.
So I understand you recently had a birthday. You're 27?
No. You got that on 37.
37.
Yeah.
We had a little
Gee whiz.
surprise for you. Can we get it? There you go.
Oh, no. That's more like it.
That you. Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you for joining us here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
The place goes crazy. How you doing?
I got a cold.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How long have you had it?
All day.
Am I going to get it now?
Don't kiss me.
You mean don't kiss you again?
I've only had it all day. Last night we were good.
Yeah. Wow. It's fun, isn't it? Are you still through the wormhole?
Yes. I was watching it all day today.
Now, what does that mean, wormhole? It's a scientific reference to something in the universe.
Someone came up with the idea. We're never sure that a lot of the things that we imagine out in space are out there, but they think that there's probably something akin to a black hole.
Right.
That if you wander into it, you can wind up in another universe somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Scary.
Is there proof of this?
No proof of that.
No proof of this.
No.
It's just our best scientific hunch.
Yeah. Right.
Now, speaking of something that's not a scientific hunch any longer, is the God particle.
Yes.
The Higgs boson.
Higgs boson.
What is that?
I don't know. They say that it is the element or whatever that holds all of the matter in the universe together, keeps it from flying apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's subatomic?
Subatomic.
Subatomic.
Yeah.
Tiny little particles.
It's like, they say when you get into quantum physics, you get down that small, things don't happen until you look at it.
So wait a minute. It exists, but it will not happen until observed.
Exactly.
And is this
that sounds strange?
Yeah. Is this the thing they use the linear accelerator to bust out the Higgs boson particle?
Yeah. They keep going faster and faster with sending protons around this 17-mile circle. It's in Geneva, the CERN, and they're coming up with all these different things.
And does that thing travels the speed of light?
No.
Not quite the speed of light.
Not quite the speed of light.
Yeah.
Just below it.
But then, after how long do we see the Higgs boson particle?
You never see it.
You never do see it.
You never see it.
Oh,
this is
that
one of the
sneaky
situations
son of a
where,
bitch.
No.
You never see it.
No, you never see it.
It's not like, whoops, there it is.
Nope. Not at all. They can see like a vapor trail type of thing.
They can see the trail of it.
Yeah.
And there was they proved something about that matter didn't travel as quickly as Einstein said it might travel, but it turned out that was a mistake. That in fact it does travel as fast as Einstein said it traveled.
Well, it's like I suppose it's like any theoretical science. We look up and we decide something. It's got to be that way. It's got to be. Like, the world being flat, for instance.
Right.
It's got to be flat. Because it's flat right here.
That's exactly right.
So
we were wrong.
Right.
But it's one of those things, if you let your mind begin to examine existence, you just go crazy.
Yep.
Now, you went to Switzerland to watch them spin the boson thing?
Actually went to Switzerland to host an awards show. This businessman from Russia has decided that these physicists doing these incredible things need some recognition.
Well, I think that's true, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And so I was there with all of these incredible scientists.
Are you
Stephen Hawking
worried?
was there.
Are you worried of knowing what you know as a human on Earth and knowing what you know as a scientific, interesting mind? Are you worried about the future of the planet?
I am.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you?
Yeah. I just want to get through this and get out of here. 1971. Who says I can't ride a rainbow? 1971.
1971.
First.
That was with Jack Klugman.
First film.
Yeah.
You were a kid then, right?
Very nearly. I was 20.
Mm-hmm. A part you auditioned
24,
for? A
about
part
that.
you were recommended for? How did you get that role?
No, I don't know. Jack just called me and asked me if I would do it.
Mm-hmm. Now we have a 9-year hiatus, 1971 to 1980. So you did not make a film for 9 years. Is that?
That's true.
Yeah.
But I didn't make any. I made some TV stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
1980, Brubaker.
Yeah.
Directed by Robert Redford, or with Robert Redford, I'm sorry, with Robert Redford.
Right.
1984, Harry and Son, directed by Paul Newman, who also starred in that, with Ellen Barkin.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ellen and I have been in 3 movies and never seen each other.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Different schedules? 1987, Street Smart.
Street Smart.
Yeah. So that was your first Academy Award nomination with Christopher Reeve. $1989, a little something called Driving Miss Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Tandy, what was she like?
She was wonderful. In the story, Daisy Worthing just doesn't like this guy being around her or her house or nothing. So when we started shooting the movie, Jessica wouldn't have me around her.
Mm-hmm. She was method acting then?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. But you later had a friendship?
Oh, no, we had a wonderful friendship, yeah.
1989, Glory, Matthew Broderick, Denzel Washington. Now, you and Denzel Washington in a movie, that's all you need in terms of actors. Denzel Washington and you have that same kind of thing where it's, oh, thank God, it's Denzel Washington. Oh, thank God, it's Morgan Freeman.
Well, I certainly feel that way about him. He's such a...
Well, no, it's the same. You have the same thing. A very few, small handful of actors have that, and you're one of them. I would be in that
Wonderful to
group,
hear
too.
you say that. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
1990, Bonfire of the Vanities, Brian De Palma. 1991, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yes.
Wait, hey, hold on. Please, we got a ways to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're just barely into the 1990s. 1992, Unforgiven. Oh, man, yeah.
My first ride with Clint Eastwood.
This was a fantastic film, starring Clint Eastwood, who also directed. Gene Hackman is another one of those actors, by God. And Richard...
Gene, you should come on back to work, too.
Has he retired pretty much? Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
You have no plans to retire, do you?
None.
Yeah, good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 1994, The Shawshank Redemption. Oh, my God. '95, Outbreak, Dustin Hoffman and Kevin Spacey. What do you remember about that movie?
Meeting somebody.
Dustin Hoffman is also in that category of guys where you want to see him all the time. I remember having seen that movie, and my memory of it is Dustin Hoffman almost in every scene. We have got to stop that monkey! That's what I remember.
Yeah.
1995, Seven.
Seven.
Brad Pitt.
Brad
Pitt.
Yeah.
Now, he was just beginning then in 1995, wasn't he?
Well, he had just come off of that one he did with Tony Hopkins. Come on, help me, somebody.
Meet Joe Black.
No.
No?
No. That's the second one he did.
Lord
This
Goes
one
Back.
This one was. Oh, he had long.
Legends. He had long
Legends
hair.
of the Fall. There it is. Legends of the Fall.
California.
Was it California? No. Legends of the Fall.
Legends of the Fall,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. He was voted the sexiest man on the planet that year.
Sexiest man on the planet. Come on.
There's a new one every year.
Yeah, that's right. Sure. 1997, Amistad.
Yeah.
Director Steven Spielberg, Anthony Hopkins. Then 1998, Deep Impact, Robert Duvall. Robert Duvall also in that group. Don't you think? A great actor?
Yep.
And then in 2004, you won an Academy Award for $1 Million Baby. How about that, by God?
I think Clint Eastwood should have gotten an award that year.
He's doing all right.
No,
he's very good.
All right, but
now
it's just a really good
the
work.
current movie that we're talking about, where you and your buddies get together and you go to Las Vegas. Have you ever done that? Said
No.
the heck with it? No.
No.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Have you ever done it?
No.
You see?
But you could do it.
You could too. Come on, David.
I'd get arrested.
Now,
I
might also.
But it's kind of a dream for everybody. But do you gamble? Do you like going?
No, I don't. I mean, I would tell everybody I only gamble with my life. I don't gamble with money.
With money, yeah. But how long were you guys in Las Vegas? It's you and
I think we shot that.
Robert De Niro and
me, Robert De Niro, Michael Douglas, and Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline, that's right.
Yeah, look out, Kevin.
What did you do in Las Vegas for fun? Did you do anything after that?
I saw 3 shows while I was there.
What did you see?
And I saw Elton John's show, and I saw Barbara Streisand's show, and I saw a.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah. And I saw
one of those Cirque du Soleil things.
Cirque du Soleil.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I would like to see. People tell me that they're fantastic.
They are. They're unbelievable. Yeah. Very young people for the most part. Very, very young.
Well,
like
you got
teenagers.
to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you guys? Was it like the Rat Pack getting together to kind of roam around Las Vegas and?
No. That's that Rat Pack sort of thing is very ephemeral thing, it's not real.
It's like the God particle.
Yeah.
And I'll just throw this out there, babes.
Yeah.
Let's show them a clip of the movie Las Vegas. Everybody has a fantasy about this. What is the clip going to be, Morgan?
This is me, I think, complaining about my drinking.
Okay. Las Vegas opened today. Here's Morgan Freeman. Take a look. A couple of drinks in him.
Red Bull vodka.
Las Vegas, Morgan Freeman. Always a great pleasure.
Thank
Good luck
you,
with
David.
your cold. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, everyone who sees him perform, from moviegoers to film critics, comments on the fact that Morgan Freeman embodies a certain dignity in every character he plays. But for someone with such an indelible screen presence, he continues to be more actor than movie star. In 2005, he won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in Clint Eastwood's $1 Million Baby, and he's been Oscar nominated for unforgettable roles in films like Driving Miss Daisy, The Shawshank Redemption, and Street Smart. That CV does not make Morgan Freeman sound like the guy next door who lives in Charleston, Mississippi, population 2,100. But that is, in fact, the town where he owns a 120-acre farm, a blues bar, and a fine dining restaurant. As it happens, Charleston is also a town where the local high school has had a tradition of still segregating black and white students when it comes time for the annual prom. And in the late 1990s, Morgan Freeman offered to pay for an integrated prom where the high school would throw one party for all the students, black and white, but no one took him up on it. Enter Canadian filmmaker Paul Saltzman. 2 years ago, when he heard about Morgan Freeman's offer, he petitioned petitioned the actor to try it again. Morgan Freeman did, and the result is Paul Saltzman's new documentary, Prom Night in Mississippi. And Morgan Freeman joins me now live in Studio Q. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Very nice to have you here.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to see you and watch your handsome face.
Well, you make a man blush, Mr. Freeman.
Sorry about that.
Any town has traditions that surprise newcomers, that seem commonplace to the people who live there. But how did you feel about living in a Mississippi town where there was still a segregated prom?
I expressed that to those children. Once you find that, when I could see, when you drive through town on the weekends, that they're sitting in different parts of the town, just what they do, and it's not like they're mingling. So that's kind of like a hint that these children are not, there's no intercourse here. They're not interrelating. They're not, something's wrong.
My grandmother always told us that we were all put on this earth different, and when we all start integrating, there's not going to be any more individuality, and we're all going to be the same, and if that's the way God wanted us, he would have made us all the same to start with.
So then you find out they're not encouraged. And let me just clear up a couple of misrepresentations here.
Please.
The Blues Club and the restaurant are not in Charleston.
No.
They're in the town of Clarksdale, quite a ways away. Big town. But I don't want Charlestonians to think that I'm going around reporting that they have a blues club there.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So did I address your question at all?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, the broader question, especially, you say you talk about them living separate lives, but this is legislated, up until recently, legislated separation when it comes to the prom. And 70% of the people living in Charleston are black. And Mississippi is the American state with the highest per capita instance of black elected officials, black police chiefs, black fire chiefs. How could this happen?
How
could the segregated prom happen?
Segregated proms.
Yeah.
Well, what's happening politically, you say 70% of this town is black. A good 35% of the state is black. And once all of those black are voting, you're going to change the color of the politics. But kids, by and large, are in these little rural areas, these little farming communities, which is what this is. It's this town. When I was a kid, this town was surrounded by fields, and it still is, except that now planting and harvesting and all that's done mechanically. So we don't have the need for that large, low-paid workforce. But the traditions of separateness still persists, and parents are teaching their children that, however inadvertently sometimes.
My parents taught me about racism. If you're white, God wanted you white to be with white, and if you're black, God wanted you black to be with black, and you can't try and change them. Not somebody that's much older than you, not a whole nother generation. You can't change them. They've done lived their life, but they try to tell you how to live yours, and that's where the conflict comes in.
It's and you make the point in the film. Well, the film makes the point over and over again that it's rather top down. It's not. This isn't coming from the kids.
It never does and never will. Kids don't know. They know what you teach them, and it's interesting how we teach children things. By and large, children do not listen to what you say. By and large, children watch what you do. And that's how you teach.
You made this initial overture about 10 years ago where you said, look, I'll pay for this. I'll get involved.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
What did you do 10 years ago?
I said you should do it.
You should do it.
Yeah.
They didn't take you up on it.
No.
Why not?
They didn't have.
What happened then?
There wasn't enough push. I wasn't going to be there with them. In this situation, I'm saying to them, okay, I'll make this move. If you'll have the courage to come together and do this, and you have plenty of it, plenty of courage, I will pay for it. Now, that's incentive. You to have this big prom. Morgan Freeman's going to pay for it and make a difference in not only in your community, you're going to talk to the state.
This time you came with cameras, though, too, with the doc crew.
I didn't come with cameras.
Well, there were cameras
that guy,
there.
What's his name? Came with the cameras.
Right, the Canadian.
Yeah, the
Paul.
Canadian. Yeah.
But how much of that do you think made a difference? I mean, in other words, how much were these school officials, because it's kind of hard to tell in the film, whether they're coming by this honestly or whether at this point they can't say no because Morgan Freeman's going to pay and they're on camera.
Yeah, but I'm going to say that the camera didn't make that much of a difference. I'm going to say that what the camera did do is after the fact, that now that they've done it and they see that they've done it, and I'm talking about the parents, the school, and all that, their sense of having accomplished something is magnified because they can see it, and now it's running around the world, and they're going to learn that people are reacting to their children's courage, their children's move into the 21st century.
I want to give people another taste of what they would see in this film and hear in this film. Speaking of the kids, this is a girl named Jessica, a white teenager, talking about her parents' reaction to her friendship with Calvin, who is black.
My stepfather taught me not to be around a nigger, and if he caught me, he would beat me to death. And actually, one day he did. This is after I had moved out. He pulled up in my yard, asked me what in the hell was the black boy doing there. And I was like, that's my friend. He's welcome here. You're not. If you feel that uncomfortable, you can leave. He was like, if that's the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to kill him.
What do you think? What goes through your head when you hear that?
That's just painful. That's, here's this young lady with, finally, we hear from the kids speaking out what they feel, what they think about this backwardness that surrounds them socially, that keeps them shackled to a situation that they're frankly actually don't want to be associated with. You hear it.
Yeah. Does it surprise you that
It does surprise me, in spite of the fact that I grew up there, and I'm really was quite comfortable with segregation.
Well, it's a perfect segue because you grew up mostly in Greenwood, right?
Yeah,
Mississippi.
Yeah.
And watching this film, did it stir up memories of your days in high school?
No, we didn't have an issue of integration when we didn't think
it was off the table.
Yeah, it was off the table. It wasn't on the table, and neither group was anxious to try and mix with the other group. You don't really need to be mixing with people who don't want to mix with you. That's if you don't like me, I don't like you either. Forget you.
The schools were segregated.
Yes, schools were completely separate, different parts of town. You didn't even see each other, so it's not a question. But here now, these kids have been going to school together for a number of years, and this is not just this class, but class upon class upon class upon class since the 70s.
Take me back.
I think maybe the 60s. I don't know.
You started acting in junior high school. You performed in a play that won the state championship, and you were chosen as best actor. Can you give me an idea of how racial attitudes at the time might have affected something as simple as a high school play?
No, because again, we were totally isolated to all intents and purposes.
Even when you win the state championship?
Even when you win the state championship.
That's the black championship.
That's the black championship, yeah. I don't know if the whites ever even had anything like that, to tell you the truth.
But this is interesting the more we learn about you, because you also grew up going to the movies.
Yeah.
And you've said that your acting heroes were people like Gary Cooper, Gregory Peck, Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
White guys.
White guys, yeah.
So at the time, did being a leading man in the movies seem like something primarily done by white men? Was this something that you thought you could?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's who was there and that's who you saw. There were no black leading men until Sidney Poitier came along. And, of course, I glommed onto his image and kept it in my hip pocket from then until now.
See, I relate to this because I remember the first time I saw Omar Sharif. I mean, years after he first, in Lawrence Arabia or Dr.
Are you
Zhivago.
Egyptian?
No, I'm Middle Eastern.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's good enough.
Good enough.
He's good enough.
Close enough.
I'm like, really, that guy? gets both of the white girls in Dr. Zhivago. You know, I mean, that was an opening, right? But did you think when you were that kid and you're watching people like Gary Cooper that you could ever be that guy?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. If you don't think it, you're not going to do it. Of course I thought it. One of these days, that's going to be me. And one of these days, I'm going to be in the movies. I have to do this.
You joined the Air Force at age 18.
Yeah.
You stayed until you're 22.
21.
It was 21. It's around 1959 you left the service, right?
Yeah.
What made you decide to become an actor at that point? What's the moment where Morgan Freeman goes, I'm going for this?
I got into the Air Force because as it turns out, I was romanticizing that whole idea. You know, we were refighting World War II as I was growing up, so we had all these heroic movies. And I fell in love with the idea of flying. And then when I got into the Air Force, I had this big eye-opener that racism was rampant there also, and that I had not qualified, or suited is a better word, for military life. That kind of unquestioning obedience to a lot of things that I think are stupid didn't quite go over well.
Yeah.
So when I got out, I was an early discharge. It was almost dishonorable, you know, because I just really didn't fit. But the catalyst actually was I did get to sit in a jet trainer because I had a lot of people behind me to get me into flight school and stuff. But sitting there, it occurred to me that this is absolutely not what I want. It isn't the movies. It's for real. These, this little red button on the joystick controls guns with real bullets. And I sat there for quite a while and knew that if I made a strafing run, I needed a camera here and I needed the people to be able to get up and go back to number one. So I got out of that plane on the runway at North Island Air Station, a Naval Air Station, and I walked away from that and towards acting. I knew that it was all about the movies. It was all about the movies.
And 8 years later, you end up in New York. But and you want to be in the movies, but you actually end up on stage.
Yeah.
Right? And we could say what might be your first big break in 1967. At the age of 30, you're in a theater production called The Nigger Lovers.
Yeah.
And then you
How did
also
you get all this information?
And
you didn't Google it.
Do research.
Gosh. Okay.
And then you also are in an all-black production of Hello, Dolly.
Yeah.
Right? But you're on the stage. You're not in the movies.
Right.
How did that go over for Morgan Freeman?
It went over fine. I was working. I was a working actor. After, 1959 to almost 1969. In 1967, we did the Nigger Lovers, late 1967, segued right into Hello, Dolly. What is germane about the time and me is that I was a working actor. I was on stage making money. That's very hard to do. But I thought every production was going to, because all my friends would always say, this is going to take you to the coast, man. This is one,
The West Coast.
The West Coast.
So you were on the East Coast doing well, but you really just wanted to get to the West Coast.
I wanted to be in the movies.
Right.
So in the 70s, if you remember the blaxploitation period,
sure,
and all my friends were leaving in New York and going out to Hollywood and getting into these movies, I said to my agent one time, I think I should go out to California. I think this was like after the electric company had ended. I should go out to California.
You were in the electric company.
I was in the electric company.
I was told I'm not supposed to talk to you about that.
Okay, don't talk to me about that.
I wasn't actually told that, but somebody was. Yeah.
My agent told me after I said that, he said, no, I wouldn't do that. When Hollywood wants you, they'll send for you. So I said, well, but sure enough, that's what happened.
Just take me back for a second as we draw the line from the guy who is in the state championship, but with a black high school, that actor. Now you're in New York, you're on stage, and you're often cast in roles that have been previously performed by white actors. Hello, Dolly's an example of that. How did you deal with that in terms of what you did on stage? Was that something that was in your consciousness?
No.
No.
No. Whenever you do I don't care what it is, you do a part, you're going to do it out of you. I'll tell you an interesting story about black and doing. I was once sent to audition for The Odd Couple.
Can't wait to find out which role.
Lord, I don't have no idea which role, but I was going to.
I'm thinking Oscar or maybe Felix.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter really, But so I'm at this audition. And it was you're gonna do a black version of The Odd Couple? Yes. Why? Well, we think it's a good idea. Okay. Are you gonna write new scripts? No, we're gonna go with the ones we got. Well, that ought to be very interesting. I didn't.
You declined.
Audition. I declined. Yeah.
You won a slew of theater awards through the 80s, but it wasn't until 87 that when you received your first Oscar nomination for your role in Street Smart, which is that we see you breaking out in a big way in film now. You're 50 years old at this point. In terms of an actor's dues, it seems like you had paid a heavy price.
Well, not a heavy price. I mean, I was a working actor.
You're a working actor.
Yeah, for 20 years now. I've been
But
working.
do you feel like a guy who, at that point, I've paid my dues? Of course, I finally get an Oscar nod.
No, that was my first good role, first real meaty role that I had in the movie. I had a short, good moment in Brubaker that brought me to the attention of a few people. But that was the first time I had a shot at really dancing. And
that's what you call it?
Well, when if you're working with other actors, and I just thought that Kathy Baker and I danced well together.
Nice.
People talk about a moment we had that was memorable.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's what you do with other actors. You dance. If it does well, people can see you doing it well. But what were you asking me?
I was asking you if you felt like you'd paid your dues.
Oh yes, of course I felt like I'd paid
and then
my
I
dues, but I was
you.
not. But I wasn't. It wasn't anything you can say. Well, I deserve this, because you don't ever deserve it. There's nothing printed anywhere, or stamped anywhere that says that you are due, or this is due to you. This is owed to you. It isn't. It's an ongoing thing with actors that, boy, I am blessed to be here, blessed to be able to do this.
Notwithstanding Street Smart, you often play these noble, dignified characters in movies. You're known for this. Audiences have come to expect this from Morgan Freeman. Do you take pride in that, or is that something that starts to bug you after a while?
It's a box. It's a box. I've played a couple of characters in which I was killed, dead. And audiences said, well, no, you can't do that. And so it isn't good to let audiences dictate the story.
Right. But you don't want to be dead, too. I mean, I heard that you only agreed to do Glory if your guy doesn't get killed. You'd been offered.
No, I didn't. That's no such thing.
No such thing?
No.
But you didn't want to play black characters that just get knocked off somewhere.
No, I don't. Because you can say, well, the black guy, he's going to die early. Right. Look at a lot of movies you see. The black guy comes out early, he's going to die early.
Right. You don't mind dying and just not early.
No, I don't mind dying if it's like a dramatic death. Yes. I want to be gobbled up by a shark or a dinosaur or something. I don't know. I got killed in the movie Sum of All Fears. Big Holocaustic explosion of And I was caught in it, and I died. But the movie was almost over by then. And, of course, the producer said later on, shouldn't have killed you.
Do you have any film roles that you regret, Morgan Freeman?
No. I don't do things I'm going to regret. I try not to, anyway. So, no, I don't think I have not any that survived.
Let me bring this back to Prom Night in Mississippi, and your real life role is in this film is certainly one to be remembered. Apart from making an integrated prom happen, when Paul Saltzman, this Canadian filmmaker, initially approached you about making this doc, why did you think this would be a good film?
I didn't know whether it was going to be good or not. I don't know what kind of a filmmaker Paul was. I didn't care. If you wanted to document it, go ahead, fine. I'm only interested in doing this with these kids. And what comes out of it after that comes out of it after that. And if this guy wants to come down and make a documentary, that's okay. That's good. That's probably going to help things along a bit. I had no idea he'd do such a good job.
Helping things along a bit. This documentary it's shocking at times. We talked a bit about that. Some of the racial attitudes in this film you think would have been
erased
20, 30, 40 years ago?
Yeah.
This is happening today. What effect do you think revealing that attitudes like this still exist will have on people coming to see this film?
We talk a lot about the fact that we don't talk a lot about race anywhere. But I think this might help facilitate a dialogue on some level. It might. Then again, it might not.
Is there a downside to people, to folks who aren't from Mississippi, seeing this and going, "Wow, that still happens down there," and not maybe not looking in their own backyard?
That I don't think that's a downside, because you only have to listen to these kids to see that they represent the hope of tomorrow for all of us. And if you live in Mississippi, you can see that we have no business teaching our children that.
Barack Obama elected president. We've talked a lot about the symbolism of that.
Yeah.
There is an integrated prom now in Charleston, Mississippi. Spoiler alert. I won't go any further than that.
Yeah. Let's not stop, though. Michelle Obama's first lady.
There you go. How optimistic are you about
very
race relations in your country, around the world?
Yeah. I buy Barack's campaign slogan, "Yes, we can." We set our minds to whatever change we want in our lives, and we can and will do it. And I think, I hope, but I'm fairly certain that these kids will never go back, and their kids will be the benefactors of this legacy.
I've had white lovers as well as black lovers. I mean, there's really no difference. It's all what's inside you, how you feel about that person. That's what the world needs to see. I mean, right? It's not all about skin color. It's not all about what people think about you. It's about how you feel. You're going to do what makes you happy. I'll do what makes me happy. People who try and stop that are the people who are going to be sadly disappointed in the long run.
When I talk about race relations and I think about the pioneers or the biggest players in ever, if not in our lifetimes, Nelson Mandela is someone that comes to mind. Matt Damon was on this show a couple months ago talking about how bowled over he was with your performance playing Nelson Mandela in a film called Invictus. What was it like to be playing Mandela?
It was interesting because, there was a long lead up to it. We had the script a couple of 3 years ago, I guess. And so I'm going to be playing Madiba. I said, it's great. I can't wait to see you play Mandela. And I'm thinking, oh, man. I don't do accents. And in order to play Mandela, you're going to have to at least try to sound like him. And I thought that was my concern. And I went, I'm a pretty good actor. I can, but this is going to take serious channeling And I've done it before. I did it with a guy named Joe Clark in a picture called Lean On Me.
Sure.
And I'm just completely knocked my socks off to see Jamie Foxx do Ray and Ben Kingsley do Gandhi. You know, just inhabit the role, that person, be it, look like it, sound like it, act like it. So here I am going to play one of the world's leading icons of dignity and gravitas. Am I going to be able to pull that off, with any kind of believability, or am I going to walk away from this with people going, Jesus Christ? But when we got to filming, and when we got to when it was time to go on, all right, Clint never says action, he says anytime. It just all fell into place. I'd been watching him on tapes and videos and things, and paying very close attention to the way he did things. So it just all came together well for me.
My favorite part of that whole story you just told is knowing that Morgan Freeman still gets intimidated by roles.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I mean, you've got to play somebody who's living, who everybody knows. There's a challenge there, People say, well, what must it like to play God? Well, no, you God? You didn't like to play God. What does God look like? What does he sound like? Is it a he?
It's good to meet you.
It's good to meet you.
Thanks very much for doing this.
You're very welcome.
Do come back.
I might. You'll be sorry.
Oscar-winning actor Morgan Freeman. He's one of the fascinating characters in the new documentary directed by Canadian director Paul Saltzman called Prom Night in Mississippi. Morgan Freeman has been with me here live in Studio Q.
Morgan Freeman, welcome to this show. It's an honor to have you here. It truly is.
It's a pleasure to be here, I got to tell you.
I don't know if you'll be bothered by this question, but I hear in your latest movie that you fell in love with your co-star.
Well, yes, you have noticed. It's really hard not to. These creatures are so fantastical, And
we should tell them what creature it is.
Well, we will eventually.
Actually.
I'm a sailor, so I've spent some time in the wild with them, And the creature we're talking about, everybody wants to know, is dolphin. So I have spent time at sea with them, and I'm spreading this word around so that everybody knows it. Dolphin, the only creature, the only wild creature who will approach humans in the wild.
The only one?
Only one.
This is a test now? Should we have people call in and say, yes, I was approached by something else? But
yeah, I hear somebody say, I was approached by a mountain lion, It's like, play with the ball
yeah,
yard.
but it's not going to work.
Not going to work.
You see, with your voice, I tend to believe everything you say. So when you said that.
I wouldn't lie about it.
You could, though. I'm saying you could. It could be just a blatant lie. And
suppose
we would all here say, that's right, the dolphin is the only one.
But other sailors will tell you that dolphins do come to play. They just come to play. Whether if they see you out there in the open ocean, they'll come over and say hi. They swim along and they ride your bow wave and look up at you like, all right? And they may go off and jump and cavort, and then come back and say, how was that? Is that cool? Huh?
Well, tell everybody a little bit about what Dolphin Tale is, because it's a true story in a way.
It's based on an absolute true story. We worked with the real dolphin, who's the star of the story. Her name is Winter. Very clever, Winter's Tale,
It is.
But she was caught in a crab trap. I guess it was a crab trap. One of those box traps, wire traps, and with ropes. And in attempting to get free, she just tightened the thing on her body, and she suffered damage around. And this doctor, who was really a very clever inventor, designer of prostheses, got into the picture, and he created a tail for her, prosthetic tail for her, which she uses not 24 hours a day. She can only wear it a maximum of about 12 hours a day, but it's good therapy for her.
And that doctor, that inventor, is you.
It was played by me.
Was played by you.
Yeah. I want you to custom make some parts for me. Not like anything we've done before. May not work, and I can't pay you.
Other than that, I should be excited, right?
Who's the patient?
You took the wrong turn at Opelika.
Well, now, you took it with me, Miss Daisy. And you got the man.
Well, Driving Miss Daisy did create, though, some controversy, even though it won the Oscar for Best Picture. There was controversy. Some people in the African-American community thought, well, this guy he's playing, I don't know. Is he just a little Uncle Tom? Is he this?
Yeah.
And then you also did an interview with Mike Wallace,
Yeah.
in which he said to you, why don't you like Black History Month?
Right.
And your answer was?
Well, I asked him, was there a White History Month?
Yeah.
And he says, I'm Jewish. I said, okay. Is there a Jewish History Month? He said, no. I said, do you want one? He said, no. So, well, there's my answer. You know, why would Black history be relegated to a month? Why isn't Black history just American history? So, no, I'm not for it at all.
Well, how do you feel about it right now today?
I don't feel any different than I always felt. I don't want to be, I just don't like to be singled out like that, you know. He's one of America's finest black actors. That narrows you, you know. It just puts you in a box over here. You can't be part of the whole pantheon.
So are you a political animal?
Not at all. No. Politics, I think, is just the worst kind of profession.
Well, it can be because it's, you know.
Well, look at what's happening now. Look,
I am looking at it. We all are looking at it.
Yeah,
You know?
it's just dreadful.
But, you know, you talked before about how you sail. I think you also have a pilot's license, right?
I am. Yeah.
What would Morgan Freeman be doing on a day he has off?
Nowadays, not much. I had a car accident.
I see you still have the...
Yeah, I got to still have the isotonic glove because the fingers still don't move. And if you don't move them, they're going to swell up. And that keeps me from flying and keeps me from sailing because I have a big boat and it takes two hands, one for yourself, one for the boat at all times. And I also have horses, you know, and I used to ride every day. That was part of my exercise regimen. Go out and ride a couple of horses.
So, what's the prognosis, though?
Well, the prognosis is we don't know. We think that you're going to get it all back, but the hard part is, so you're paralyzed from nerve damage. Stretched nerves take a long time to heal. 1 inch a month, and I've got long arms. Okay, so
1 inch a month.
Give yourself a little over 3 years for that to grow back. In the meanwhile, if you're not moving a muscle, it goes away. So now, once you've got the nerve connection, you don't have any muscle to do it with. So you got to work on that. So I have therapy going on to just try to get blood flow through atrophied muscles.
I choose now, then, as I end every show, to do it in song.
Okay.
I warned you about this before. You didn't seem afraid.
Not afraid.
But any song that's in your head doesn't have to be the theme from
I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart that you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin.
I love that. Morgan Freeman, I can't thank you enough. This has been so much fun.
Thank you,
So
Peter.
great.
Has Obama helped the process of eradicating racism, or has it in a strange way made it worse?
Made it worse. Made it worse. Look. The Tea Partiers who are controlling the Republican Party stated, and what's this guy's name? Mitch O'Connell. Is that his name, O'Connell?
Yeah. Mitch McConnell, yeah.
Mitch McConnell. Their stated policy, publicly stated, is to do whatever it takes to see to it that Obama only serves one term. What is that? What underlines that? Screw the country. We're going to do whatever we do to get this black man. We're going to do whatever we can to get this black man out of here.
But is that necessarily a racist thing?
It is a racist thing.
Is it not just Republicans? Wouldn't they say that about any Democrat
No, because they
president?
would have gotten rid of Bill Clinton if they could have.
Well, they tried.
They did try, but still. I don't. They're not going to get rid of
Obama either. I think they're shooting themselves in the head.
Does it unnerve you that the Tea Party are gaining such traction?
Yes.
Why?
Yes. Well, it just shows the weak, dark underside of America. We're supposed to be better than that. We really are. That's why all those people were in tears when Obama was elected president. Look at what we are. Look at how this is America, you know? And then it just sort of started turning because these people's surface is like stirring up muddy water.
Are you disappointed that Obama hasn't been more aggressive in taking them on?
Kind of. But I so understood that he was trying to hold on to his own promise. That he
be
would,
different to that kind of
he would be president of all the people. He was going to try not to have this.
Wouldn't most Americans now, certainly a majority in my view, love him to stick a metaphorical bloody nose on his opponents? I think
yes, now you do. Because now you see how hard he's tried and how hard they have fought against him. Yes, that's what we all want to see. We want to see, and he's going to do it.
Here's a stat from your show, and it says that the richest 85 people on this planet have as much money as the poorest, 3.5 billion.
Yeah, right. That's on the planet, however. And
it's not far off in America.
No, it isn't far off in America, but we still here don't abandon the idea that it isn't finite.
Yeah.
It isn't finite if you were born. Where were you born?
Me?
Yeah.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Baton Rouge General Hospital.
Baton Rouge.
There you go.
Louisiana. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but here we are.
Right.
So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and here we sit at the dining table.
But it's hard when you say that to some people because they say, oh, there you go with a pull yourself up by the bootstraps thing, and, you know, you're just being respectable. Not everybody can do that.
Bullshit. Everybody can. Everybody doesn't. Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, well, I'll never get out of this. So they won't. I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So, well, you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day.
So I'm here with one of the most recognizable men in American cinema, Mr. Morgan Freeman. How are you?
I'm fine, Michael. How are you?
Doing good, thank you. So, you know, your films are always seem to be on a mission to reveal the truth. This one in particular deals with, you know, we saw that recently in Paris.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about just the parallels that we see, you know, in film versus reality?
Well, you know, that's the age-old question. Yeah. Does art mirror life, or does life mirror art? Mm-hmm. So I think actually it's two-way street. We're actually mirroring life just on a grander scale. It's not worth doing if you don't do it on a grand scale. If you want, you know, it's the movies after all. We want it to be really colossal. So let's not blow up a building, let's blow up a city.
You are an accomplished actor. You've won the Academy Award, you know, Globe Award, and the list goes on. You know, was there ever a time in your career when you felt that your greatest work wasn't being appreciated, and how did you deal with that frustration?
No. I was never a time when I didn't think that my work was being appreciated. There was a time when I thought I wasn't going to get to work. Mm. And that's, you know, that's the scary part. I say, wow, gee, I better start thinking about something to do to eat, you know, pay some rent.
Right. Yeah. You know, there in Hollywood right now, there's a little bit of an uproar as people feel like African Americans in particular feel like they're not being included in a lot of the roles and the awards.
No, they don't really feel that way.
Well, you know, my question for you, you know, John Singleton said that we should be focused more on the passion and less on the acclaim. So what are your thoughts about that?
Same thing. Yeah. I mean, their claim is fine, but we shouldn't be. No one should be attacking the Academy Awards. Academy Awards is like that's the end of a long road that starts with producing, goes to writing to producing, directing. If you want diversity, that's where it has to start, and then that gets to the Academy Awards. Academy Awards, you can't turn that into affirmative action. It won't work.
Keep making great movies. We'll keep watching.
I'm going to keep trying.
Thank you,
very
sir.
much.
Appreciate
Nice
it.
Morgan is a director, a producer, a narrator, and has played too many memorable roles and characters to list here. He reprises his role as Alan Trumbull in London Has Fallen, the sequel to 2013's highly successful Olympus Has Fallen. This time he's vice president. I saw the movie last night. This is an action-packed thriller that you're freezing your seats. You're not going to the bathroom. What's it like to make a movie like this?
I'm not in any of the mess.
Correct. You are.
I'm just in a very quiet, safe,
in the safe room.
Yeah,
in the
room.
White House.
So I'm only hearing and trying to picture what my guy is doing.
And when you're doing those scenes, you're not talking to them, right?
No.
I mean, they're on the screen somewhere, but you're in the...
Right.
So what did you think when you saw the final film?
Haven't seen it. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Well, the scenes are unbelievable.
I keep hearing that, and I've seen the trailers, and they look awesome.
I saw it last night. It is phenomenal. It is really
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you very much for
You're
telling
going
me
to
that.
enjoy it very much.
Good.
Angela had a rough time shooting in Bulgaria, cold weather, lying on the ground.
Been there, done that, hate it.
Why did you choose to do these films? What's the basis of your selection process?
Work. If it's work, and I'm not going to get hurt, and it's going to pay, I want to do it. I'm not that, I don't get like a ton of scripts coming my way. Or if I do, if I do, I don't know about it because
people screen them for
you.
you?
Yeah, my agency screens a lot of it. I get a lot of stuff to be asked to be.
So when they give it to you, it means they like it?
Yeah, they think this is worth us doing.
And do you usually agree?
Yes, I do.
Have you regretted ever turning down something?
Never. Never. I regretted not getting something that I auditioned for, maybe, or just wasn't thought of for, but I've never regretted turning down anything.
You have appeared in so many wonderful films. The Vegas film with De Niro and those guys.
Knockwood.
Jack Nicholson, working with him.
Yeah.
Bucket List and all that. But whenever people mention Morgan Freeman, the one thing that first jumps out, and why, I want to ask you why you think it's forever, is Shawshank Redemption. Why do people see it 10 times?
None of us know. I mean, those of us who are in that movie, I couldn't tell you, Tim couldn't tell you, Frank Darabont couldn't tell you why this movie has such depth. I don't think Stephen King can tell you, and he wrote it. Number one, it's probably one of the more offbeat love stories. It's very, very deep. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. And at the end, when those two old guys hook up again, the audience supposed to stand up and cheer. Yeah, life is good.
Yeah, you get such joy. Did you realize making it that you were doing something special?
When I read the script, it was special. I told my agent I'd play any role, whatever. I didn't know because he didn't say, read for this part. Just, I read the script, that was it. And then I called and said, I'll play any role. And he said, they want you to play Red. Really?
All right, if this London thing works, they got Washington, they got London, supposing it's going to be Moscow or Paris or something, would you do number 3?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every successive one pays a little better.
Morgan, are you saying that you do some things for money?
Yes.
Morgan.
Huh?
It's an art.
Yes. But I don't want to die a pauper because art, you know. I mean, I was thinking about friends of mine like Modigliani, Van Gogh, Monet. Monet didn't die a pauper, but
Van Gogh did.
Yeah, Van Gogh did, and Modigliani did.
Yeah, but you're beyond pauperdom, aren't you?
Well, yeah, but you know what the problem we have is living up to our income.
That's right.
Yeah.
More people to pay.
Yeah.
More homes to keep up.
Yeah, it's true.
Alimony, all those kind of things that go with the territory. After all these years, do you still like watching yourself on screen?
I never liked watching myself on screen. It's not one of my favorite things to do at all.
Explain that. Why not?
I spent 20 years on the stage. On the stage, you only see yourself through the eyes of the audience, and you are really kicking butt, you know. I got this. I'm all over this role. But when you see yourself, or at least when I see myself, I'm not all over it. I'm just me, and I'm not hidden well enough. On stage, you can hide, you know, because it's all just psychic. If you can see yourself, you know, you're doing the same old cliche
Isn't
things.
the stage more rewarding?
Ultimately, yeah,
You feel
instant
the
gratification.
audience.
Yeah. That's.
Would you go back and do theater?
No. I went back in '08 and did The Country Girl.
Great. That's a great.
It was a great play, and I was with great people, Peter Gallagher and Francis McDormand. But we three who do movies, we come on stage after about 3 weeks and go, why are we here?
But what if you got a great part?
Doesn't matter. I've had great parts. You know.
Well, you sure have. Morgan Freeman's our special guest. The movie is London Has Fallen. You will not be bored. It opens March 4th. We'll be right back. We're back with the great Morgan Freeman. You will see him as the Vice President of the United States in London Has Fallen. It will be a very successful movie to follow. Olympus Has Fallen. That was a surprise hit, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But, you know, if you got enough action and you got a good-looking star and enough backup, it's almost a shoe-in.
Do you still enjoy the work?
I enjoy
Money aside, do you enjoy it?
That's the only real reason to do it. You know, I don't need to go to work just because I get paid. I go to work because I've always wanted to do this.
As a kid?
As a little kid, yeah.
Did you used to play act when as a child?
Yeah, I won my first Best Acting Award in school. No, it was a statewide contest.
Young black men in 1950 don't win statewide awards in Mississippi, do they?
Yes. I mean, schools were segregated. You had your own thing going on, you know.
Ray Charles told me once he went to a school for a blind and they segregated the classes.
Yeah, well.
In Mississippi, that wasn't exactly the threshold of advancement.
Yes and no. It's where I came from.
You still love Mississippi?
I still live there. I moved back.
Wow. Yeah. All right, you like playing other. What's the kick of being God or a vice president or driving a lady around in a car or being a prisoner? What's the kick?
The kick of it all is having that eye looking at you doing it. I do it with ease. I've always been a natural actor. I was born to do this. So, you know, when you're a kid, it's, hey, look at me, look at what I can do, right? And now I'm 78 years old. Hey, look at me, look at what I can do. It's still here.
Do you know you've done well?
In some, yes. Yeah. I knew I was doing well in Driving Miss Daisy. And I did that on stage, and that was a huge hit in New York. And I thought I did well in Shawshank, and I thought I did well in Street Smart, and I thought I did well in $1 Million Baby.
That was a good.
Also, I think I did well in Invictus.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
I knew him very well.
Wasn't he something?
Mr. Mandela, greatest figure, in my opinion, of the 20th century. What was it like to play him?
It was the most fun I've had. I was working with my favorite director, Clint Eastwood, and I tell you, when we shot the very last scene, everybody said, "Let's start over."
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It was just the most fun I've had.
What's special about working with Eastwood?
Gee, I think the first thing is he's speed. He just doesn't fool around. You got it, let's move on. Number two, he doesn't fool around with actors. He hires you to do the job, so he ain't doing it for you.
And so he respects the actor.
He respects the actor, yeah. And everybody who's ever worked with him come away with that feeling. This guy is tops.
What was it like to play God? You didn't list that as one of your memorable ones.
No, it wasn't, because, I mean, how do you play God? Who is God?
You just played him because I'm an agnostic. I don't know.
Yeah, well.
I bought it just because you were good.
Good. Well, I think that because I'm God, it's easy to do it.
Now let's talk about that voice. It's an imitated voice. In fact, someone did commercials as you, right? Was there a lawsuit there?
Well, no, not a lawsuit, just a request to stand down.
Have you always had that voice?
No. The voice started when I was in college, when my first efforts in officially learning the talent, the business of acting, how do you do it. That's not what you really should be trying to learn. You should just be trying to get your instrument honed, and part of your instrument is the voice. And I had an instructor, a man named Robert Whitten at LACC here, who nailed elocution, diction, breath control, all of that into his students. You made a record at the beginning of his class, and at the end of the class you made a record so you could hear the difference. First thing he does is he teaches you that your voice is too high. Most people speak with a tense throat, it's too high. So he gives you techniques on how to relax that, and your voice deepens. And then he just nailed diction.
Did you have a Southern accent?
Serious.
You must have.
Yes, it was bad. First time I stood up in his class and opened my mouth, he said, hold it. What's your name? And I said, it's Morgan Freeman. He said, it's not Steppenfetcher? And we go, okay, get serious.
Do you remember what you sounded like?
No.
London Has Fallen opens March 4th. We'll be right back. We're back with Morgan Freeman, who could truly be called a great artist. Olympus Has Fallen was a successful hit, and now we have London Has Fallen, and it's going to march right in footsteps. It's going to be a Lollapalooza. Do you care about box office receipts?
Sure.
You follow them?
No. Somebody does.
But they tell you?
Yeah.
Okay, has Hollywood changed a lot since?
Since I was a kid?
Since you started in the business here?
A lot. I don't think it's changed a lot.
Did you go to work for a major movie company when they brought you out? You came from theater out here?
Yeah, Warner Brothers. I think it was one of the first three movies I did were Warner Brothers movies. Shawshank Redemption was Castle Rock, but Warner Brothers was the distributor. And Lean on Me, Warner Brothers.
What was your first movie?
Gee whiz, my first movie, believe it or not, was in 1969 with Jack Klugman in a movie called, variously, P-O-N-Y, P.O.N.Y, Pony. It's about these kids trying to save a draft horse in their parents' apartments.
Morgan was a great guy.
He was. And he liked my work so much that he kept rewriting the script to keep me in it, which I thought was, okay. That's
What do you
great.
think about all these diversity issues in Hollywood now?
Well, I'm not quite sure that there is a diversity issue. The fact that there was no blacks nominated for an Academy Award, okay, fine. We've had many years when there aren't, but you know, there were no Asians either. You know? I think if we're going to talk about diversity in the movies, let's not talk about the Academy Awards. That's an outcome. That's the end line. We need to go way, way back. We need to go back to people who are making the movies,
The directors,
the producers, and them, the people who are behind the camera. I don't see nobody black behind the camera in here. That kind of thing. You know, it's not the Academy Award.
It's endemic.
Yeah.
Actors say that to find a role, you have to like the person. Is that true?
Oh yes, yes.
No
You
matter
have
what
to be able to sympathize with the character.
So no matter if you're playing have you ever played evil people?
Once.
Who was? I can never remember you being bad.
Then you didn't see Street Smart.
No, Street Smart I did not see.
Yeah.
Who were you in Street Smart?
I was a pimp. I was a face-cutting, killing pimp.
Was that easy for you?
Like falling off a log. When I auditioned, Jerry Schotzenberg was the director, and I auditioned in a role where I'm threatening to put a woman's eye out, and she has to choose which one. So Joy Todd was the casting agent, and I used her as the girl, and Jerry saw it, and he said, "You've done this before."
How about the Vegas movies? We're going to do another one?
If one materializes, absolutely.
What was it like? I was with you guys in
Vegas. In Vegas.
Oh, was that what a group that was. Did you have, that had to be fun.
That was fun. Turtle Taub was such a great guy to work with. He's fun, just funny himself. You know, he understands humor. It takes a great punch because, you know, I'm a puncher.
Do you enjoy comedy?
I enjoy every it. It doesn't matter to me what it is. And it was
Boy,
working with.
You love this. You got a whole scene going.
I do.
And the money ain't bad.
The money's damn good.
We'll be back with our remaining moments with Morgan Freeman. London Has Fallen will open March 4th, and it's going to last a while, too. We'll be right back. We're back with our remaining moments with Morgan Freeman. Wish we had all day with him. He's one of my favorite people. By the way, did you have dinner with President Obama this week?
Yeah, last night.
Oh, last night.
Yeah.
Where'd you eat?
A place called BLT.
BLT.
Yeah, in Washington.
I've spent some time with him. He did my last show. He was very nice. What do you make of President Obama?
Oh, I'm a big fan. Ever since I read his book, The Audacity of Hope, he's had me in his hip pocket. You know, whatever he needs, if I can provide it, he's got it. He knows it.
What was he talking about at dinner?
Oh, we don't much talk shop at situations like this. There's a lot of people. And we were there, there was a bunch of us there to start helping him design the Obama
Library
Center. We're not going to call it a library. It's going to be called the Obama Center.
You smile when you say it's not going to be a library, meaning it's going to be a little different?
Yeah, he's anxious to make it so that when people visit, they come away with maybe a little incentive to take part in the process more.
So not like visiting a museum.
Right.
You're also executive producer of Madam Secretary. What a hell of a show that is. She's great.
Oh, isn't she? Oh, love that woman.
Boy, is that a good. Are you an active executive producer?
No, I wouldn't call myself an active executive producer. I got other things going on, and my producing partner, Laurie McCreary, does the heavy lifting.
It's a great show.
Yeah, glad you like it.
We have some social media questions. Hampton BHW tweets, What would you say has been your greatest challenge in life?
I don't know. I'd have to give that a lot of thought.
You don't have to answer. It's not a court. The Siebert wants to know the favorite part of your day.
Well, I'm a night person.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. So, dinner and after.
Susan Stewart on Facebook. You've played many kind and compassionate characters. Where does that come from? Having compassionate role models or knowing what it's like not to be treated that way?
Wow. Well, all of that. Yeah. Having good role models is, I had an incredible line of teachers growing up. And my mom was, and my grandmother. I'm a ladies' man. It's most of my life is outstanding women and a few outstanding men.
You like women?
A lot.
Me too. Carl Mann asks, how's your bee sanctuary? And would you blame Monsanto for making Roundup or the government for their lax rules on pesticides?
Both. Both. There's been a frightening loss of bee colonies, particularly in this country. I don't know about around the world, but to such an extent that the scientists are now saying this is dangerous. About the canary in the mine. Methane gas builds up in coal mines, and because the canary's respiratory system is the breathing is so rapid, they will keel over first. So then get out of the mine because your bird is dying. Well, that proliferates around the planet. When the canary dies, you're in trouble. Well, we got thousands and thousands of species of animals that are disappearing because of what we're doing.
One of your fans wanted to ask about your love of marijuana, and another wants to know your favorite strain.
I'm not that much of a connoisseur, so I don't know what strains are. If you have some good smoke, try this, yeah.
You think it's going to be legal everywhere?
Yeah, I do.
It ought to be.
Yeah, it has to be. They can't continue to say that it's a dangerous drug, but it's safer than alcohol.
It's a lot safer.
Yeah.
All right, we throw some quick questions at you. What's your guilty pleasure?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, what keeps you up at night?
Television.
You're up at night.
Yeah, television.
What's on your bucket list?
I'd like to get a Best Movie Academy Award.
What do you mean?
Best film. My company produces a best film.
You want the best film of the year?
Yeah.
You don't have to be in it?
No, I don't have to be in it.
A secret talent we don't know about?
No, I don't think so. I think my life's pretty much a book.
Someone you haven't worked with you'd love to work with?
Yeah. Anybody I haven't.
Best piece of advice you ever got?
Don't look for trouble.
Something you wish you were better at?
Acting.
Come on.
I'm telling you. No, I take the back. Golf.
Anything you regret?
Regret. Regrets are evolutionary things. By that I mean they evolve. You regret something today, and 15 years down the line, 10 years down the line, you realize it wasn't something to regret.
What can we say? It's just, I love being in your presence.
You're an awesome, awesome person. I don't know why you're still here.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Larry.